All right, hello guys. Take number two here. Um, Today we have an interesting nerd herd video for you. Um, Today I'm gonna be explaining, in my opinion, how I think Jurassic Park, the Jurassic Parks, not the movies, uh, failed. Um, but first, transition, and one more transition, and then we'll get into it. All right, let's get into this. Um, Yes, so as I said before, I'm going to be explaining why I think the parks in the Jurassic Park movies failed. The movies were very successful, and when I say the parks, I mean both parks in Jurassic Park movies, the original trilogy, and the new Jurassic World movies. And I'm talking about the parks specifically seen in the first movie of each trilogy. So when I say they failed, uh, I do mean whether or not they were initially successful, or whether or not they were considered overall successful during whatever lifespan you want to call it. What I'm saying is, at some point, they did eventually fail and did have to close eventually. So let's take a look at the original Jurassic Park first, the one that Hammond originally created and wasn't open yet, but was going to be open very soon when the events of the first movie took place. Um, the reason it failed was, yes, this is an internal. Yes, it was internal because it was an employee, technically an employee doing it, but it was also external because there were other people wanting to get this model park out. Now, the name of that employee, I have it looked up here. The guy, Wayne Wright, is the actor who played him, but Dennis Nedry, or Nedry, or however you pronounce his last name, um, is the character who, a rival company to a rival to John Hammond, to John, yeah, yeah, to John Hammond, did hired basically to steal the research that was going on in the Jurassic Parks by what's his name? Dr. Henry Wu, B.D. Wong's character, which he reprised in the Jurassic World movies. But in essence, it was the actions of Dennis Nedry within the park to get what he was being paid for out of the park, that which basically failed or sunk the original Jurassic Park. So I'm calling that an external. It was an external problem because there was another company that wanted to do the similar thing, and um, also the only internal problems you could see in the original Jurassic Park were, yes, these are the dinosaurs, as far as we know, and as the movie states, they are dangerous creatures. Because there are some that were meaty, there were some that were carnivores, there were some that hunted in packs, some hunted individually, some were scavengers. So yes, there was an inherent danger with, keeping these large carnivorous or omnivorous animals in a park and contained. But um, one of the more famous lines in the movies is that Hammond does say that they spared no expense. So I'm going to assume that for both the first iteration of Jurassic Park we see in the original Jurassic Park movie, and for the Jurassic Park the Jurassic Park we see in the Jurassic World franchise, the first Jurassic World movie, I'm going to assume that they took the necessary precautions when handling dangerous creatures of the size of that we assume some of these dinosaurs were. So, for that, So they didn't fail because purely because they were the dinosaurs were just itching to get out. They were taking the necessary precautions for these animals. And as zoom forward, and okay, so Jurassic World movies we are, I think it was proven in this second Jurassic World movie, if I remember right. It's been a while since I've watched them, but in the second Jurassic World movie, they did say they did mention Hammond being they did mention John Hammond. So these all six of these movies are in the same universe, just however many years apart they were. So let's fast forward to the second iteration of Jurassic Park, the one we see in the first Jurassic World movie. This one is more of an internal problem. This one is more of a let's experiment and see what we can create, and let's experiment. Let's see what we can. Let's see if we take these dinosaur and this piece of dinosaur DNA and this piece of dinosaur DNA and this other piece of DNA and just mash them all together, put them in a blender and see what comes out. And they made the Indominus Rex. Now, um, I did mention that they were sparing no expense um, to keep the dinosaurs in there, or the dinosaurs that they knew about in there. But the problem was they created an entirely new dinosaur by mixing and matching, making this kind of dinosaur DNA soup, basically boosting the intelligence of the Indominus Rex up by a significant margin. So this was not a normal dinosaur. We see in the events of the first Jurassic Park that the Indominus Rex was intelligent enough to remove the tracker that they put in its body. So it's an intelligent and incredibly vicious neo dinosaur that they had no knowledge of how to contain. Now, the question you could ask is, hold on. There we go. That might be a bit better. But the question you could ask is, why in the world would they, why would they create this? Well, to get profits, of course. But anyway. And another question is, how would they know how to create a successful, basically a successful containment area for this dinosaur if they didn't create one? Well, the simple answer is don't create a dinosaur that, you can't successfully contain. Now, there were, now I'm going to transition to real life for a little bit and compare the creation of a new dinosaur in the fictional universe of Jurassic Park to the creation of a new roller coaster in a standard real life American amusement park. In the case of a roller coaster, there are ways that they test them. They test the carts. They test the rides for safety. They test all the basically the carts where you sit. They test all the seatbelts. They test everything in those cars. They test the track to make sure it's stable enough. They test. There are, and I'm drawing from experience from working at Worlds of Fun. When I asked people who worked with the roller coasters closely, there were numerous tests that they did at every step, at every juncture of making a new roller coaster to make sure that this roller coaster is the safest it's possibly going to be. So, and I'm not saying that the creator in the universe of Jurassic World, that the people who were creating the Indominus Rex weren't doing that. I'm just saying there's no way that they actually could, because honestly, the Indominus Rex is an animal, and animals are have a certain level of unpredictability to them. So there's no way you can absolutely control every phase of testing for for an animal at every phase of the park, every phase of its creation. And of course, they were doing this, as I said before, they were doing this to be more successful and to get more sponsors and to expand the park. Which, okay, every business does that. They look for ways to expand profit margins however they can. But in my opinion, and this is this is my a little bit of an opinion portion in this video. In my opinion, um, this is that was ultimately unnecessary for Jurassic Park, or a park of Jurassic Park's nature, because from what we see in the movie, they were still getting plenty of customers and park goers to go into the parks. So I don't think they really needed anything to boost margins, to boost the profit margins. But I understand that they were looking to do that. Now, um, could they have looked for other ways to do that? Uh, experiences for park goers to maybe interact closer with the dinosaurs. Maybe, you know, inviting them back into the lab to see how a dinosaur is, how the dinosaurs are hatched and created and everything. Maybe pull back the current a little bit, but that's not ultimately what they did. Um, so that's basically all I have. Is the reason both Jurassic Parks fails were due both to external and internal reasons. People looking for a profit and failing to realize the dangers looking for a profit in this specific area could have. And you know that's basically it. It's people looking for a profit in an area where there's a certain measure of unpredictability beyond uh, other things. Because, as I said before, roller coaster dinosaurs have, as I said before, dinosaurs have a little bit more unpredictability tied with them than roller coasters are, because roller coasters are machines. If you think about it, they are complex machines that run on rails and all this other stuff. So roller coasters and other rides are basically just machines that there's a certain measure of predictability where you can say, hey, we're not going to operate in a thunderstorm because this ride's too high. Or we're not going to operate during these hours because the rides need to be shut down for repairs and for other types of maintenance. You can't do that with an animal. So that's basically all I have for you guys. I'm going to transition out here in a minute. Don't forget, go down to the Patreon, or go down the description for the Patreon. If you like this video, give it a like, subscribe if you feel led to. Other than that, I'll see you guys later. Transition. Now I'll see you guys later.